Have you ever wondered why people only start to desire you when you don't want them? Is this a game the universe plays with you, or is it one of the deepest secrets of human nature? To find out the answer, keep reading. When it comes to relationships, there's a strange situation regarding how our minds work, almost like there's a paradox. The more we want something, the less likely we are to obtain it. The opposite is also true. When we let go of something and stop pursuing it with the same passion, it seems like our desire pulls it towards us. This dynamic is not just a quirk of human interactions. It reflects deeper principles observed in nature and articulated by ancient philosophers. It's as if the universe watches us to see if we can truly control ourselves or if we can detach ourselves from what we want. It waits, observes, and then moves with precision and purpose when the right moment arrives. The strength of a lion lies not only in its physical abilities but also in knowing when to act and when to remain still. Similarly, when we stop pursuing something, we regain control. We can learn from the lion and become more patient, balanced, and in control of our desires. So why is it like this? Why do they want us when we no longer care? The answer lies in the fundamental principles of human psychology that the Stoics understood and explained long ago. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we stop reacting with despair or desire, we completely change the dynamics of our interactions. We shift from being the pursued to the pursuer. By creating a space where we genuinely don't care whether someone wants us or not, we cultivate self-respect and honor. This isn't just a show or a game. It represents a true detachment that means letting go of the need to control or possess. When you are indifferent, you are not affected by others' moods or interests, and at that very moment, you become your most attractive self. One of the most influential Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, writes in his Meditations, "You have control over your thoughts, not over external circumstances." When you understand this, you feel stronger. When you let go of your dependency on their attention or love, you become an irresistible force. This inner strength, this quiet self-confidence, is truly attractive. Let's explore this in more detail with an example. Imagine someone who constantly seeks approval and love from others, constantly texting for reassurance and being available at all times. What message does this send? It shows a lack of self-esteem and confidence, making you appear needy, which isn't a pleasant image. Now consider the opposite. Envision a calm, composed person who doesn't chase approval. This person is confident and self-assured, and it's this confidence that attracts others. The key point is to avoid playing games, manipulating, or deceiving. Instead, focus on developing genuine self-control and indifference. It's not about pretending not to care, it's about genuinely not caring. It's about understanding that your worth is not determined by whether others are interested in you. This is the essence of Stoicism. True power comes from within your mind and your actions, not from others' approval or love. Thus, when you feel someone's interest in you waning, don't chase after them. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you need to do more, be more, or perform certain actions to regain their interest. Instead, take a step back and embrace the power of indifference. Focus on your own growth and peace. Don't try to control the situation. When you stop trying to control everything, you'll see yourself flourishing. As Seneca wisely said, true happiness is about living the present moment without worrying about the future. Don't worry about whether they'll come back or if their interest will be rekindled. Instead, focus on living honorably and with self-respect in the present moment. And just like that, what you once chased may start coming to you. This is the first sign that when you no longer care, they want you. This is not about manipulation or playing hard to get. It's about genuinely developing stoic indifference, finding your strength within and letting go of the need for external approval. When you do this, you become a person of true essence. When you stop chasing after things, you'll know that what's meant for you will find you in its own time. We all have a tendency to think we can control everything, our relationships, our circumstances, and even the actions of others. Learning to let go instead of trying to control things is what brings us true freedom. This leads us to the second proof that when you don't want them, they want you. Imagine someone trying to control every aspect of a relationship, constantly wondering what the other person thinks, what they're doing, and whether their interest is fading. This person may try to influence the other's feelings or steer the relationship in the direction of their desires. However, in doing so, they may stop what they want and worsen their situation. On the other hand, think of someone who knows that control is an illusion. This person knows they can't make someone feel or behave a certain way. They don't manipulate or force. Instead, they focus on what they can control, their own actions, feelings, and reactions. When you stop trying to control others, you cease to worry and can focus on yourself. This approach is not just a good idea, it's a great way to feel freer. When we stop trying to control everything and instead live in harmony with the natural flow of life, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, new experiences, and new ways to connect with others. Interestingly, when we let go, others are drawn to us more. They desire us even more. Epictetus said, "Use things you can control to the best of your ability and accept the rest as it is." This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, and you'll become a strong, calm, and peaceful person. This inner peace is what others find so attractive. Think of a river. It doesn't fight against the rocks in its path. It flows around and over them, finding the path of least resistance. In doing so, it shapes the landscape, carving valleys and canyons, creating beauty and life. Likewise, we lose nothing when we give up trying to control everything. We simply transform it. We can learn from the river. We can flow in harmony with life, shaping our destiny through acceptance rather than resistance. This brings us to the practical side of letting go. If you feel someone is drifting away from you and their interest is fading, don't force it. Instead, let it go. Focus on your life, your goals, and your personal development. Believe that things will work out and that you can find happiness without controlling every detail. It's not about surrendering or giving up hope. It's about understanding your limits and embracing the freedom that comes from letting go. As Marcus Aurelius said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." When you stop trying to control everything, it becomes easier to navigate life. You allow things to unfold naturally and often see that what you were trying to control comes to you effortlessly, without struggle. So, the way to understand that they want you when you no longer desire them is to let go. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you create space for real connection, real attraction, and real love. You become a strong and calm person who trusts in their own abilities, unaffected by what others think. This power and tranquility are what others find most attractive. One of the best things the Stoics understood is that true power and fulfillment come from internal sources, not external ones. This idea is now the fifth proof that when you no longer desire them, they want you. The magnetic power of self-sufficiency can be seen in someone who constantly seeks approval from others, whose happiness, self-worth, and even entire existence depend on the opinions and affections of those around them. Such a person drifts like a ship without a rudder in the sea of uncertainty, imprisoned by external validations, desperate for attention, and this desperation drives others away. Now compare this with someone who is self-sufficient. This person is not dependent on others for happiness or self-worth. They are confident and satisfied with themselves and what they have, moving through life with quiet assurance, knowing they are complete without needing anyone else. This completeness makes them extremely attractive. There is a strong, almost magnetic power that comes from self-sufficiency. It is the strength of a person who does not need others, but chooses to connect with them because they genuinely care and want to share their already rich and fulfilling life. Such people are quite rare, and this rarity makes them desirable. As Seneca said, the best things in life are precisely within us and accessible. A wise person is happy with what they have regardless of circumstances. When you cultivate self-sufficiency, you embody this wisdom, finding happiness in your life without needing the approval of others. When you are in this state of fulfillment, you attract others to you, not because you need them, but because they are drawn to your strength, confidence, and independence. Look at a tree in a storm. A tree with shallow roots is tossed by the wind, while a strong tree with deep roots stands tall against whatever the storm brings. It does not have to rely on support from others. Its strength comes from deep within. Similarly, when you are self-sufficient, you become like that strong tree. The opinions or behaviors of others do not affect you. You trust in your abilities, values, and self-worth. One of the fundamental strategies for developing self-sufficiency is to focus on your growth and development. When you feel someone's interest waning, don't try to win them back by catering to their needs or desires. Instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Concentrate on improving your skills, knowledge, and character. The greater the investment you make in yourself, the less you need from others, and that makes you all the more attractive. Marcus Aurelius frequently discusses the importance of self-sufficiency and self-improvement in his book Meditations. Your thoughts shape your spirit. When you focus on your development and adopt a self-sufficiency mindset, you create a vibrant, powerful, and attractive inner world. Your inner strength naturally draws others to you, not because you need them, but because they are attracted to the power and confidence emanating from within you. However, being self-sufficient is not just about personal growth, it's also about accepting that you are complete as you are. You don't need someone else to fill a void in your life because there is no void to fill. When you let go, everything changes. You become someone who no longer needs others, transforming from a person who depends on others to someone who recognizes the magnetic power of self-sufficiency. As you develop this quality, you become someone who is not dependent on the love or approval of others. You become someone who is fully confident and happy in themselves. This self-sufficiency and quiet strength is what others find most attractive. They are drawn to you, not because you are seeking them, but because they want to possess the qualities you have. The human heart has a paradox that has puzzled thinkers, philosophers, and poets for centuries: the paradox of desire. The more you desire something, the less likely you are to obtain it. However, when we let go of this burning desire, when we stop clinging tightly to it, it often comes to us spontaneously. This is another example showing that when you no longer want them, they want you. Desire can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it motivates us, empowers us, and helps us achieve our goals. On the other hand, when you direct your desire toward another person, it can become suffocating, consuming, and ultimately repulsive. The Stoics understood this well and said that the key to living a peaceful and fulfilling life is to control our desires and want less. Epictetus once said that the only valuable goal in life is freedom, which you gain by ignoring the things you cannot control. This freedom is not just physical, it is a deeper, more meaningful freedom. When we learn to free ourselves from the tyranny of our desires, we break the chains of need and longing. As we remove obstacles, we become stronger, more attractive, and more magnetic. Imagine a person who desires something so intensely that all their thoughts, actions, and words revolve around that desire. This intensity can actually push people away, as the person may be perceived as needy and desperate, making them less attractive. Now consider the opposite. A person who keeps their desires under control and feels complete without needing anything or anyone. This person is calm, composed, and satisfied. They do not chase after others, try to possess them, or burn with dissatisfaction. Instead, they radiate a quiet confidence and a serene self-assurance, making them irresistibly attractive to others. They are like a flame that is not overly hot, but continuously emits warmth, effortlessly drawing others in. The notion of desire is not merely a philosophical concept. We can also observe it in the natural world. For instance, consider a bird. If you chase it with all your might, it will fly away in fear. However, if you lean back, relax, and allow it to come to you, it may perch on your shoulder of its own accord. Similarly, when we loosen our intense desires and stop pursuing others so fervently, we often see them drawn to us naturally, without forcing or striving. Another great Stoic philosopher, Seneca, said, "He is not poor who has little, but he who desires much." When we learn to control our desires and want less, we genuinely enrich ourselves and free ourselves from the need to control others or make them do everything. Once we are free from the need to control others and feel complete without needing anyone, we become more attractive and desirable. So, how can we master this desire? How can we achieve this seemingly contradictory goal of wanting less while attracting more? The answer lies in developing strong self-awareness and self-discipline. If you find yourself overwhelmed by a desire, Take a step back and pause for a moment to think about where this strong desire comes from. Do you believe they will complete you? Perhaps you fear being alone, or do you think they hold the key to your happiness? Once you understand where your desire comes from, try to distance yourself from it. Direct your focus towards your own development and well-being instead. Stepping away from a situation does not mean turning your back on others or being indifferent. As Marcus Aurelius said, embrace what you cannot control and genuinely love those you are connected to. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Loving and caring for others without intense desire that leads to excessive attachment and pain allows you to love freely, purely, and without the need to possess or control. When you don't want something, they might want you. This is the paradox of desire. When you stop trying to possess and begin to let go of your desires, you create a space for genuine connection. You become calm, confident, and peaceful. A person who is content with who they are, not driven by the need to satisfy their desires. This contentment makes you free from desires, making you more attractive to others. There can be a subtle yet powerful force at play in the dynamics of human relationships. There is an invisible thread that pulls people together when they are apart. This is the power of absence and evidence that for one person to want you, another must distance themselves from you. If you wisely use absence, it can be one of the Stoics' strongest tools. It's not about playing games or manipulating others. It's about understanding the natural ups and downs of relationships and the importance of creating distance to encourage desire. When you are apart, only longing can fill that void, and it is this longing that allows others to see our true value. Consider the Stoic concept of being free from emotional fluctuations. This principle teaches us that we should not be too attached to anything or anyone because attachment can lead to pain. If we become too present and too accessible, we risk being overlooked and can become a pattern that is no longer noticed or appreciated. However, when we create distance and step back, we allow others to feel our absence, miss us, and desire our presence again. Seneca advised to distance yourself from the outer world and focus on yourself. Meet those who will help you become a better person, who can assist in your development. This withdrawal is not about isolation, but about creating the space necessary to support your own growth and giving others time to think about your absence. When you take a step back, you give others the chance to miss you and appreciate you more when you return. Your absence becomes like fresh air in a stale room, bringing a new breath of life into your world. Passion is renewed, and the extinguished spark reignites. Just as fire needs air to burn, relationships need space to grow. When you are always around and always accessible, like air, even if you are needed, no one notices you. But when you step back, even for a brief moment, you create a void that others will naturally want to fill. This principle holds true not only in human relationships but in nature as well. Think of the tides coming and going. When it is not there, the shore awaits its return. The cyclical nature of tides keeps the shore in a state of expectation, readiness, and appreciation. Similarly, when you step back and give yourself a little space, you create an opportunity for the other person to fill that void. But how can we use the power of absence without falling into the trap of manipulation? It all depends on intention. Absence should not be used as a tool to control someone or to elicit a specific reaction. Instead, it should stem from a natural need for your own space, personal growth, and self-reflection. When you step back, it is time you need to focus on yourself, develop inner peace, and spend time on your interests. By doing this, you not only help yourself, but also allow the relationship to breathe, develop, and evolve. Marcus Aurelius suggests that we show the same care in our actions, words, and intentions as we do when approaching death. This means we should act with purpose and intention and recognize the value of every moment. If you choose to distance yourself from a relationship, do so with the intention of healing yourself and the relationship. Use the time apart to think, grow, and renew. Another way to leverage the power of absence is to embrace moments of solitude. It can be challenging to step away from constant demands for attention, but in those moments of solitude, we find clarity, reconnect with our true selves, and nurture the inner strength that makes us attractive to others. Another strategy is to focus on the things you are passionate about and enjoy. When you engage with something meaningful and fulfilling to you, a natural void forms in your relationships. This void is not a lack, but a fertile space for growth, revitalizing desire and allowing others to see you in a new light. It's also beneficial to consider the importance of boundaries. A Stoic knows how to set boundaries, step back, say no, and create distance. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines for healthy, balanced relationships. When you set boundaries, you show others that you respect your own space, value your presence, and that your absence is appreciated. As Epictetus said, "A wise person does not worry about what they do not have. They celebrate what they do have." When you take a step back in a relationship and embrace the void, you are not abandoning it. In fact, you are nourishing it by providing the space it needs to grow, develop, and improve. In this void, others will come to recognize your true worth, will want to be around you, and will only understand you in your absence. Lastly, you can look to the power of absence to see that they only want you when you no longer want them. When you take a step back and create a little space, you allow others to feel your absence. They will miss you and desire you. You become a mysterious, intriguing, and profound person. You are not always around, but you are impactful. In this absence, you become the most attractive, desirable, and valuable. We often think we need others, and this thought deceives us. We can achieve true happiness and fulfillment without being dependent on others. This illusion traps us in dependency and robs us of our inner strength. The Stoics understood that true power comes from self-sufficiency. They recognized that our well-being is not dependent on others but solely on ourselves. This leads us to the sixth proof of the principle of attracting others only when they no longer want you. Transforming dependency into power. The idea of needing another can be tempting, suggesting that we are not self-sufficient and need someone else to feel complete. However, this is a false belief that weakens us and hands our happiness over to others. When we think we need someone, we become vulnerable, open to manipulation, and easy to control. We start to believe that our value depends on their presence, attention, or approval. In this situation, we can't see our own power and potential. But what happens when we pop that balloon? When we realize that we don't need anyone to feel complete, happy, or satisfied, we regain control. We transform dependency into strength, becoming individuals defined not by our relationships, but by our character, will, and inner resilience. The wise Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Start living your life now, and view each day as a new beginning." This wisdom teaches us to live each day and each moment as complete in itself, freeing us from the chains of dependency regardless of what tomorrow holds or who is around us. We understand that every day and every moment has the potential for satisfaction, irrespective of who is in our lives. Think of the oak tree. It stands tall and strong, firmly rooted in the ground, unaffected by the winds of change. It doesn't rely on the support of other trees. Its strength comes from the depth of its roots and the durability of its trunk. Similarly, when we focus on our strengths and become self-sufficient, we can be resilient and unshakable like the oak tree. So how can we break free from the idea that we need others? How can we transform dependency into a source of power? The first step is to know yourself better. Recognize when you're dependent on someone else for your happiness, or when your self-worth hinges on their presence or approval. Take a moment to ask yourself these questions. Why do I think I need this person? What am I trying to gain from this situation? What is the fundamental fear I'm working on? Asking yourself these questions helps reveal the illusion that what you think is essential may not be true. This illusion fades when viewed with a clearer mind. The next step is to focus on your growth and development. If we aren't pursuing our own goals and passions, we're more likely to become dependent on others. By investing in yourself, learning new skills, following your interests, and challenging yourself, you create a foundation of self-sufficiency. You become someone who feels whole on their own, needing no one else, and you choose to share your life with others from a place of strength, not need. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to reflect on ourselves thoughtfully. When we do this, we find a source of strength that will always be with us. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy, the belief that true power and strength come from within, Focusing on your strengths reduces your dependency on others. You become self-sufficient, resilient, and strong. Another way to transform dependency into strength is by practicing separation. This doesn't mean cutting people out of your life or being indifferent to relationships. Instead, it's about having a mindset that isn't overly attached to any one person or outcome. Being separate allows you to remain involved in relationships without losing yourself. It lets you care deeply for others while preventing them from becoming the reason for your happiness. Epictetus said, "If you want to grow, be content to be considered foolish and stupid." This advice may seem harsh, but it underscores the importance of independence and self-sufficiency. When you're happy with yourself and don't need others' approval for your worth, you're less affected by what others think. You can live your life according to your own values and principles, free from the fear of rejection or abandonment. Lastly, take time for solitude. In a world where many see solitude as boring, Stoics believe that being alone is a valuable time for reflection, growth, and self-discovery. When you find peace and contentment in being by yourself, you begin to realize that you don't need anyone else. You understand that you're whole on your own and don't need someone else to fill the gaps in your life. Another way to realize that someone wants you only when you don't show interest is to pay attention to the dynamics in your relationships. When you start feeling more independent and self-sufficient, you clearly see that others are no longer the center of your world. When you recognize that you can be happy and valuable without needing anyone else, and you trust yourself and develop your inner strength, you become someone who is strong, resilient, and confident without relying on others. This power and independence are what others find attractive. The attraction comes not from needing someone, but from being drawn to someone who doesn't need you. That's why people are attracted to you, not because you need them, but because you don't. If this video has given you something, don't forget to show it by hitting the like button. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated on new videos, and share this valuable information with your loved ones to touch their lives as well. Remember, true strength lies within us, and we continue to discover it together.